I'd like to start, if I may, with a poem, what I wrote. Just a quick one. It's called By Any Other Name. Barbara is hot, but Gertrude is not. Penelope's well read, but she's stuck in her head. You know, Molly can sing, but she married for bling. And while Emily is kind, she's too easy to blind. Lily is a flirt, Zoe a pervert, Helen a flame, and Sue just a name. Life's cruel, horrible plot. That some shine and some do not. But of all the girls I can name, I mostly miss Jane. It's not quite there yet. It needs some tweaks. It needs some adjustments. But I think the tone is on point. And what I'm really trying to get at in the poem is nominative determinism. Is the idea that names shape reality itself. Not just how you perceive someone, but how they literally turn out in the end. Barbara is hot. The name Barbara does carry a kind of faint glamour, a faint aura of classical Hollywood still. I tell you I met a 22-year-old girl called Barbara, and your head fills it in as attractive. But a 22-year-old girl named Gertrude, that's different. Gertrude is an old, heavy, Germanic name. Implies hag, implies old hag. It's dripping with cultural baggage. It's angular, it's sharp, it's aggressive. Gertrude. It's like many German words, powerful German words, vulgar sounding, harsh sounding. That's why all the best swear words are German. Cunt, fuck. Fuck is a fantastic word. It's from the German "freaken" means to strike. You know. Greta is another word, another name like Gertrude that just has this kind of horrible Germanic resonance to it. Of course Penelope is well read. Of course Penelope, Homeric Penelope, wife of Odysseus, associated with weaving and waiting, is well read. But of course she's stuck in her head. And Molly does have this kind of girl next door quality to it. Molly's a sparkly little name. But there's a bit of frivolity to it. There's a cheeky edge to it. Sophia is the Greek word for wisdom. So of course wisdom implies cunning and strategy. And Jane might as well be the most plain name in the English language, but it's so stripped down, it's so monosyllabic and simple that it weirdly ends up being the one with the most depth. What I'm trying to do here, what I'm attempting to do here, is play off of the cultural aura of names. How names hold weight and consequentially meaning in our collective unconscious. It's partly etymology. It's partly pop culture. It's partly reinforced over time by stereotype. But it's real. Nominative determinism is real. It's not that your name makes you act a certain way, but it's that your name makes you believe that you are a certain way. And funny thing about belief is that very often it comes true. I want to explore the power in naming things. Like, I don't think it's a coincidence that the first thing that Adam does in the book of Genesis in the Bible is start naming the shit in the garden. If it was me, if I'd been in the Garden of Eden, I probably would have ended up calling the cow a moo and the pig an oink and the dog a woof. But Adam's naming is different. It's this kind of act of dominion that God allows Adam. God tells Adam as his first task that he is to name the animals. So naming, in a biblical sense, is the first technology that we have for how to master something. To give something a name is to give it its traits, and therefore to bind it to a certain way of being, to control it. To give something a name is to lock it into a human frame of reference, because before Adam, it's a story, right? But before Adam, animals just were. And then after Adam, animals are categorized, animals are ordered. So language is the tool that God gives us with which to corral chaos. This is why in every old religion, every old magical system, they fucking obsess over names, including the Bible with who begat who begat who. To know the true name of a god or a demon or even a mountain is to be able to wield power and leverage over that thing. In ancient Egyptian magic, if you had the hidden name of Ra, if you had the hidden name of Isis, you could hurt him. You could hurt her. You could wound them by knowing their name. In the PGM, in the Papyri Greca Maica, the Greek magical papyri, there's inordinate lists of names on names on names. They pile up in these kind of long sequences, long strings, because the name is the leash used to be thrown around the neck of the entity, the deity that you're trying to speak to. You're bringing form to something basically ineffable when you give it a name. And naming, magically speaking, is not descriptive. It's possessive. This is why you give your pets a name. This is why if you want to have a long, healthy, and successful relationship, I suggest you rename your girlfriend. Just between the two of you. Don't make her sign a deed poll. Don't make it weird. Politically speaking, rulers historically have always renamed cities, streets, sometimes entire peoples. Caesar conquers, Caesar renames. I came, I saw, I renamed. Stalingrad, Leningrad. Corporations do the same thing. Every brand is a baptized idol. It's trying to outlive the thing it is itself. What do we mean when we say a brand name? Now, obviously, my little poem about Barbara and about Gertrude is borderline retarded, I take your point. But that's the power of Adam still kind of echoing, still kind of rippling through time. Because once you say Gertrude is not, right, Barbara is hot, Gertrude is not, you are fixing that in the reader's mind and you are helping to perpetuate that reality. Poor Gertrude. Poor fucking bitch Gertrude. She's doomed. Even if in reality she is stunning. Go on Instagram, search the name. There's a few of them. But she's doomed, right? She's doomed because a spell has been cast on her. Jane, I think, works as a little twist at the end because plainness makes the name feel eternal, makes the name feel archetypal. I mean, look at Alexander. Alexandros in ancient Greek. Alexo means to defend or to ward off. Andros literally means men. Alexandros means protector of men. And it meant protector of men long before Alexander the Great. Long before the man himself stepped into those shoes to fulfill it. Of course, he adds the Great on the end as an epithet. But you've got to understand that there's power in the name Alexander. And there will for a long, long time be power in the name Alexander until some famous Alexander fucks it up. Your vibe shaping with a name. A name, in effect, is a kind of psychic costume. You have to understand that grace carries with it, and consequentially with her, a sense of grace, a sense of humility, a sense of softness, a sense of elegance. Roman carries with him law and order and rigidity and empire. Josh is a very casual, very approachable, very unthreatening guy. Very non-suspicious guy. When somebody meets you, they are going to instinctively and immediately project the aura that they carry and associate with that name already onto you. And you, being a feeble-minded mortal, are probably likely to bend to that collective will and that collective pressure. This is why I say to people, if your name is Thomas, think long and hard whilst looking into the mirror about whether you want to be Thomas or Tommy or Tom. Because they aren't the same. I think there's a very good reason that people call me Jord and not Jordan. I think it's very funny that all of our ancestors got psyoped so hard into having Hebrew names. Nominative determinism, in a sense, is kind of a feedback loop. If you lean into it, you start to actually see the patterns emerge more. Vlad Dracul, son of the dragon, son of the devil. Kind of means both in Christianized Europe. But imagine the power in growing up and everybody calling you the dragon son. Are you supposed to not become a ruthless tyrant who impales people's heads on sticks? With a name like Vlad Dragon Son? Nicknames are the same phenomenon. People test names on each other until one comes to feel true, like a tuning of an instrument. That's why a king has a throne name. That's why a pope takes a new pope name. Why monks always change their names upon initiation. I might start naming the people that join the group chat, hey, like in a Native American sense. How? I shall call you... Yeah, I love the Native American naming convention of like, oh, a baby has been born in the tribe, so now we're just going to wander off until we see something interesting, and then we'll name the baby after the first thing we see. You will be called 10 Buffalo. You will be called 2 squirrels fucking. Like, I just love this. But there's something in that. There is a natural magic being captured in that Native American custom. If somebody else knows your name, your real name, they can pin you down. A public name is a mask. A private name reflects your soul. And the ancients were not naive at all about this. They understood very well that a name is a magical sound, a feedback curse, and a mask that you wear. This is why celebrities and rappers and God knows who else change their names. There is a terrible power in Jane. And there is a terrible power in John that I don't think has fully been explored. They seem so weak and so generic that they're almost empty, but that emptiness is a power in itself. All the victims on police records named Jane or John Doe. It makes you think. But essentially what I'm saying is to name something is to bind it. To name something is to conquer it. To name something is a very good way of protecting your soul from the thing you're naming. And to choose a name for someone is, in a sense, to choose a fate for someone. So be very, very fucking careful what you're naming things, what you're calling things. Because whether you realize it or not, you are casting a spell.